What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show. We are back Monday, 1:30 p.m. PST. As usual, we already got Big Boar's MMA in the mix. Big win for France. We got to talk about this. This is a big win for France. This is kind of a big win for the middleweight division and fans of the middleweight division too, to be honest. And we're going to get into all of this stuff. There's actually a lot of exciting stuff to talk about today. And we're going to have a little bonus topic that wasn't listed. I'm adding it right now to the list. We're going to add some funny footage at the very end because I know Justin is a connoisseur of good trash talk. And we saw some really funny back and forth banter and trash talk over the weekend with Chael Sonnen and none other than Tito Ortiz. So we're gonna show some funny footage at some point. I'm gonna wait until Justin arrives to show that. We got more comments coming in. MGAL4 Productions. Imavov best boxer at 85. Imavov Chimaev, please. Okay. Why don't we get right into the mix? Let's talk about this fight because Imavov, in my opinion, that was not only the best boxing that I've seen at 185, and I want to hear Justin's take on this. I thought that was the best boxing I've seen in the UFC period, and I'll tell you why. Obviously, I'm not a boxer, but I feel like I can recognize good striking technique when I see it, and man, it was just picture perfect. And I'm not just talking about the technique. I'm also talking about the speed and the rotation in the body and the way he was digging those shots. And it was just the accuracy was clean. I mean, the bobbing and weaving was clean. He was moving out of the way like the Matrix, I said in the video that I made on Saturday. So I was so impressed. Justin, let me turn over to you. Were you as impressed as I was with Imavov's boxing?
Yeah, man, he's an incredible striker, and he labels himself as a striker. He doesn't even label himself as an MMA fighter. You know, you look at his UFC profile, and it says striker. He's an incredible reactive striker. And, you know, just like I said in the video before, I felt Imavov's reactions and his distant management was incredible. Yeah, I can't remember one of the guys we talked about, the fingers to the eye. I think one of the guys, Imavov might have got called for that, or Brother got called for it at one point.
Imavov, twice, 2 eye pokes.
See that? I mean, that's him playing his range. And that's one. And, you know, I think he's developed that almost into a game plan now. Because he knows he's going to get a warning for it, at least for the first time. Because again, regardless, it's just something hard to get around. It is something you have to think about. But regardless, his boxing looked clean. His punches are great. He has a very powerful overhand right, followed up by that left hook or uppercut. The guy's a monster. There's no question.
Dude, it was so fun to watch. I know some people were I don't know. I thought it was an amazing fight. I imagine you enjoyed it as well because it was a striker's delight. There wasn't a KO. There wasn't a knockout, but Imavov was laying it on thick. Now, there's a few things that we have to discuss in regards to Imavov. Number one, he had a severe tendon leg injury that he sustained at some point throughout the fight. It was around the time when he got hit in the groin, and you could even see him limping a little bit, but then he jumped right back in the mix, and credit to him, he didn't show that injury, but the fact that he still kept going and coming forward and knowing that he won the fight, he had it wrapped up. But round 5, he still went and threw a barrage of punches in those last 30 seconds and tried to get the KO. Justin, what does this tell you from what we saw from Imavov? What does this tell you, and what does this show you about who he is in a fighter? And does this make you a fan of Imavov to see that he was going for the finish even when he had it wrapped up?
No, man. I mean, as a fighter, I mean, that has to be our mentality. You know, we're not cruising in to win decisions. You're not going to get Dana White's good graces for cruising and win on a decision. He wants to see finishes. You watch Dana White and Dana White's Contender Series, and man, the way he talks to these guys that aren't signed to the UFC, and the way he's telling them that, you know, we're not fighting to grind out decisions. We're fighting for finishes, and he showed all. And here's the thing. I didn't know that much about him before I made that video. You know, I know that I know of him, but I couldn't even, honestly, before I made that breakdown video, I probably couldn't even pick him out of a lineup. But performances like that, knowing that you're willing to go out on your shield, even when you know that the fight isn't a wrap, I mean, that drew me in as a fan. That draws in marketability. Now he's somebody that nobody heard of prior to this, and now an incredible performance, getting an incredible fighter, and to try to finish the fight like that at all times, come on, how can you not love this guy?
Let me say something right off the bat, because just like you mentioned, you didn't really know who he was. I mean, we saw the amazing victory over Adesanya, but he doesn't do interviews. I don't think he really speaks English. I'm sure he's fluent in French and Russian and many languages, but he doesn't barely ever do interviews. And I said that on Saturday. Now that I saw that boxing clinic, now that I saw him just literally like I don't feel I don't think Kyle had an answer for him whatsoever. Maybe he was getting a little bit of success in the late rounds of the fight with those calf kicks, which you mentioned in your breakdown video. So that was a very astute observation. But he probably should have been throwing those earlier. But I felt like he just dominated. I want to hear him. I want him to go on Ariel's show without a translator. Obviously, maybe they can't do that tomorrow, but I want to get to know him because, man, he is fun. He is fast, dude. And I want to talk a little bit more, but I want to get about his technique and all the cool things that I saw. But we got a couple of comments. Let's not leave everybody hanging in limbo here. Barat says, did you watch the prelims? I did not watch the prelims. I was actually working Saturday morning, so there was only a handful of the fights that I saw later on after, but I didn't get to see him live, unfortunately. Western says, what's up, boys? What's up? The question is, can Imavov stop Chimaev from just wrestling? We're going to talk about that. In short, my answer is absolutely not. I think, dude, I made a video. Robert Whitaker said, I don't think anybody beats Khamzat. I think that's the world we're living in. But I'd still like to see the fight regardless. If Fluffy can finish RDR, maybe he can leapfrog Imavov. We'll see. The thing is, though, that's a while to announce the next title fight. You could be right. I have a feeling they're going to make it Imavov because also he has the support of the French people behind him. So I think it could still be a good fight for the UFC, but we shall see. Chad B says 10-7 is officially my top 5 watch channels on YouTube. I'm watching, fellas, and now YouTube recognizes on my end. Keep it up, guys. Let's go, YouTube. Thank you, Chad. We really appreciate it. We're working our tails off here and having a blast doing it. Barat says that Imavov said he had the injury before the fight and that it got worse days before, especially in the fight. Wow, what a legend. He went in, didn't pull out, and still put on a performance like that.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. And I know to civilians, that's impressive, but I would expect nothing less. When you get your opportunity to do that against a guy like Kyle Braulio that's known, that's super, super tough, you cannot say no. And, you know, it's when the UFC calls, and everyone's always said this, when the UFC calls, you answer the door, because if you don't answer the door, you might not get another call. I have 3 personal friends at the gym that I just saw 2 of the 3 this morning. They all got calls for short notice fights in the UFC. They all said no, they weren't ready or they couldn't make weight, and they have never gotten a call ever since. Woo. So, like, when the UFC calls, you answer the door. And Imavov is a true warrior and a true legend. You know, we talk about Conor McGregor with his broken toe. I tell you what, if Conor McGregor was on the up and up before becoming the 2-belt champ, before becoming a 100 millionaire, with that broken toe, he steps in against anybody in the world. So again, this is not a special circumstance. This is the fighter mentality that I fought 3 of my 5 UFC fights on 3. Fucking 2 of them were on 3-day notice. Like, you're a fighter. You show up, you fight. It doesn't matter the circumstance.
There, I mean, see, you can say stuff like that. I can't, but that makes sense when you say it. To me, I am still in awe of Imavov, especially the fact that, I mean, you need your legs and you need it for every form of striking, but especially when it comes to boxing and the importance of footwork and how good his footwork looked like, I just was doubly impressed. But no, that's really good perspective. Now, here's the thing. Okay, there's one other thing that I want to talk about. We got a couple other comments. We got a troll in the mix with that name. I'm not going to say the name, but he says, hello, everyone. Welcome back. I remember your name. Thank you. Thank you. And Justin James, Bad Mofo, who loves MMA as much as me. Let's go, MGL4 Productions. We're going to talk about Jean Silva versus Diego later. And Justin will hopefully do a breakdown video for us for that fight because that's going to be wild. We got to talk about the odds. Jean Silva is minus 275. What? Like, that doesn't even make sense to me, but I guess we'll talk about it in a little bit, unless I'm getting those numbers wrong, but that's what I saw earlier today. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. And okay, so MGL4 Production says, I'm a business owner myself, but I couldn't run the UFC because I'm a fan of all the fighters. I didn't know you're a business owner. Cool, me too. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, yes, his boxing was amazing, but there's something else that only other person I heard talk about this was Luke Thomas. I mentioned in my video. Dude, the work that Imavov was doing with his lead leg, I was blown away. I know, Justin, you said before that you're not a big fan of the rear teep because I think you said this. Obviously, it's way more powerful, but it takes a lot of time to bring it up and to shoot it and to, you know, bring it back down and rechamber it. So it's a big time crunch. It's a big time suck to throw that strike. What Imavov was doing, and I was like, what is this? He was throwing his lead leg so quickly with teeps and side kicks and even oblique kicks. Can you tell us a little bit about how big of a benefit is that for a fighter like Imavov to have that in his arsenal?
Oh, I mean, well, here's the thing. Well, for one, to answer your first question, I looked it up. Minus 270 on William Hill. Dude.
Crazy. Why? I don't get it.
Hype, I guess, maybe, but I don't get it. I'm putting my house on Lopez. But anyways, back to man, So you look at like Mads Burnell, he's a featherweight, lightweight fighter, was in the UFC, PFL, Bellator, an incredible fighter. He hides behind his teep kick and his leg kicks. All right. And as a sparring partner of his, because if he's not coming in on me, Imavov and Mads Burnell fight very similar. It's a boxing style, hiding behind that teep kick, with big overhands and big shots like that. So as the opposition, that it's frustrating because it's hard to time your shots because you're trying to come in, but he's being defensive with that teep kick, or he's showing the teep kick and you're starting to get worried about it. So to have that as a weapon as your arsenal is just incredible. And it's not just an offensive move. It's a defensive move as well.
Dude, I'm just like so stoked about Imavov. Now, I'm sure it's going to be a rough fight. I believe he will lose to Khamzat Chimaev. I thought he showed very nice takedown defense against Caio, but that's Caio. But he stuffed all 5 of his takedowns. I think it's going to be a different story, but I'd love to see Imavov in the future. Now, just for fun, and I want to talk about Caio as well. I know it wasn't listed in the topics, but what do you think would happen with Imavov versus DDP? This is a question I've been waiting to ask you after I saw his performance. How do you think that would go?
Dude, I have not even thought of that. I have not even thought of that matchup. That would be an interesting matchup because, again, the thing is, Imavov is a great counterpuncher. He's going to stand in front of DDP. DDP is going to blitz in. He's going to do his left, right, head, side to side. The problem with that, well, here's the beautiful part about it. So Imavov's favorite counterpunch is his overhand right. So like you throw your cross or you throw your overhand, he's going to slip his head to the out. Jared Cannonier and him did it simultaneously at the same time, which was pretty cool. And both their punches went right by each other's head. I put it in clipped it in the video that I made. But regardless of that, when DDP throws his cross, remember it's a switch cross. So he's coming in here and he's switching his head to Imavov's left.
Okay.
Now Imavov typically, he's either going to slip his head into to that side, but with my left hand up, the right hand coming over is going to be blocked.
Okay, right.
Compared to where if I throw my cross here, Imavov's overhand is going to be coming here. Well, when DDP steps off and throws his switch cross, now that overhand is going to be
coming over. Oh, I think you muted yourself somehow.
Yeah, I did. My arm touched the mic. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So the Imavov's punch is going to be coming over the shoulder, and I think DDP is going to be able to block that. I'd like to see the adjustment Imavov makes to land that counter punch because, again, DDP is going to be here, and then he's going to switch to the other side. So maybe if Imavov, if I was Imavov, and then this is just me coming up with it right now, I haven't really thought about it. Wait for DDP to blitz. Imavov has that great post where he always has his hands open. He gets called. Wait for DDP to blitz. Post, when he goes for that left or that right cross and switch his head back to the other side, step back, overhand that time. Does that make sense?
I think so. But also, I know when you're talking about throwing the cross, like my coach always tells me to like tuck my head so that I am protecting myself. And I know I always have a bad habit of not doing that. But anyways, I'll just give a hot take here. When I was thinking about it, I think it'd be a very interesting matchup. I think Imavov gets the better of DDP. I think one thing that a lot of people didn't talk about because we didn't know until you see the two go back and forth is the speed differential between Imavov and Caio. I think Caio, his fighting style just wasn't able to overcome it. I think that's going to be a big problem for DDP. On top of that, I think that DDP is going to have no luck on the takedowns. I think Imavov has got some really underrated wrestling, or anti-wrestling, we should say. And I think DDP is going to be stuck on the feet. And with that speed and that crisp striking, I don't know. And the cardio, look at the cardio. We saw him come out and have an amazing performance in round 5, and he put in a lot of work. So I think it's a foregone conclusion, I have to say. But I'm actually very excited to see who DDP fights next. Now, going back to Caio, what do you think's next for him? Who would you like to see Caio fight next? Oh,
back to the drawing board. Let's pull up the rankings here.
Here, I can share them here on my screen.
Share them
here. Okay, so we got UFC rankings for the middleweight division, my favorite division, I must say at this point. Hold on.
Now, again, Caio has so much marketability that the UFC is going to want to get him a win here. He can't. I'm really hoping he doesn't take a hard fight.
I mean, maybe he'll fight Whitaker. I don't know. No,
Whitaker, Brandon Allen would be a good one.
Michael Venom Page. That'd be interesting. I mean, Michael Venom Page against anybody is interesting. I think my MVP wants to go down.
I don't want him to fight Venom Page because I feel that Venom Page can beat him. You know what I mean? Like, I was really blown away. So the reason I was late I don't know if you saw, but I was making a video and I rolled over our 1:30 time limit, but I was making a video about, do I think, Imavov can beat Khamzat and taking Robert Whittaker. And one thing I just want to say is Robert Whittaker did say he was unbeatable, but here's the thing. Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson was allegedly unbeatable. From a betting standpoint, I don't think Khamzat's ever going to be an underdog, but I don't think, and that's the beautiful part about the UFC. Nobody's unbeatable. But let's get that straight. But anyways, Kyle Baralio still has so much marketability, and you look at like Robert Whittaker, and Robert's kind of falling off. He still has great name brand, but Kyle can't lose another fight. You know what I mean? If he wants to stay around the top 5, top 8, he can't be losing fights, and he needs, or top 10, I should say. I think Robert, again, a guy that's kind of on the backside of his career, and it's still a valid enough name to keep him around for marketability, because the UFC wants to market the fighting nerds. They have a great gimmick. They have, like I said, the biggest, the most important thing is marketability, and that's huge right now in the UFC. Everyone's talking about the fighting nerds.
You know how cool the middleweight division is? We got Caio Borralho, who just lost, but then we got Fluffy versus RDR. And then waiting in the wings, we got Israel Adesanya, who might be fighting Sean Strickland. We'll see. We still have Whittaker. We have DDP in the mix. Like, there's so much dude, it's the best division right now, period, in my opinion. Okay, we got a couple comments I need to read through. Shamaev, it's just so good it leaves you just confused. Yeah, 100%. Brett B is back in the mix. Can a high-level jiu-jitsu middleweight give Khamzat problems? I'm going to tell you this. I know Robert Whittaker said that, and I know people are saying RDR could be that guy, and I know he referenced the close fight against Gilbert Burns, which really wasn't that close. It was still a win and whatever, but I mean, it could be interesting. I don't think so, though. I mean, how effective can you really be on bottom? We rarely ever see submissions from the bottom or any real legitimate threat from the bottom. So I think it's an interesting matchup, but I don't think it was the jiu-jitsu that got Khamzat in a bad place or potentially bad place with Gilbert. I think he wasn't listening to his coaches. You saw even in the DDP fight, he wanted to stand and bang with DDP and knock him out, and he had to get talked to by Arman Sarukian to not do that. So I think it's a bit of just like a myth that good ground game, good jiu-jitsu is going to counter Khamzat. I don't think so, but we'll see. Strickland tangles up his opponent's shots with his hands. Yep, that's absolutely true. MGAL4 Production says, I'm curious to see how Strickland looks on it. For sure, dude. The middleweight division, I'm telling you, it's the best right now. It's the most exciting. There might be a guy at 205 that could beat who? Shamaev? I think he whoops Ankalaev. Brett B, nobody wants to see Izzy fight. I want to see Izzy fight. Who doesn't want to see Izzy fight?
I want to see Izzy fight.
Izzy's still a legend. I would watch Izzy versus Strickland too. Heck yeah, I love that rematch. MMA Guru was like, no, you're casual for saying that. He told that to me in the stream. He's like, I want fresh matchups. What are you talking about? That's a great rematch. I want to see Izzy, and a lot of people felt like Izzy was off his game in that fight. Let's see if it's true, or let's see if Strickland can get the better of him once again. Barat says, Khamzat, let's go. One more comment. John Dong, back in the mix. Haven't seen you in a while. What's up, my friend? Does Khamzat beat light heavyweight Gelton Almeida? I would think so. I think he beats. I'll put it like this. I think Khamzat's toughest test at light heavyweight will be Ankalaev. I know it's maybe a hot take. I think he beats everybody else easily. I really do. When it comes to Ankalaev, I still think he beats him, but yeah, that would be his toughest test. John Dong, sup? Hey, Muttball's back in the mix. Izzy versus Strickland will be sick. Heck yeah, it will be. Let's see if it happens. All right, we got to move on. We got a lot more to talk about. Tons of news here. BSD, Benoît.
There's one thing left I want to say on the take of why Imavov's defense won't be able to stop Khamzat's, and this is it's in the video too. But regardless, so when Baralho, because everyone's talking about this morning about how he was 0-5 on his shots, but Baralho, for one, he's really tall. He's 6'1". He's coming in. He's not changing his level far enough. So Imavov's able to use his shield, his boxing with his lead frame. I'm giving the quick answer here. Yes. So he's just squatting his butt down, trying to get under his frames, where Imavov can just change his level. Khamzat shoots like nobody else in the UFC. Oh. Khamzat still shoots like a high school or a collegiate wrestler, where he drops down to his knees. All right. By changing that. So as we're taught in transition to MMA, we're taught not to drop to your knee anymore. All right, because it's too slow. You don't need to go down that far because you have to get under your partner's guards. In wrestling, my butt's going to be lower, so we have to get lower. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
MMA, we're standing tall. All we have to do is get under the elbows. So we only have to squat down a little bit. This is how I've been taught. But Khamzat doesn't do it like that. He shoots like a traditional wrestler. Another thing, there's two pieces why he won't. The commitment issues Baralho had. So he'd shoot in, he'd feel resistance, and then he'd try to break off and reset. or he'd feel resistance and go up to over-under position, which is still a wrestling position, but it's a 50-50 position. It's not an advantageous position. So a couple times he found his back on the fence there, and they're kind of in that dance mode, where I have Khamzat on their other hand, who doesn't go up as much. He does get caught in the over-under 50-50, but once he shoots in and touches a leg, he's a dog on a bone. He's not going to give up on that shot until he's in on the shot and can get the takedown. Braulio was ready to get defensive as soon as he had any resistance, where Khamzat, on the other hand, isn't. It doesn't matter how far he is away. He'll run on his knees. He'll sprint towards his opponent. He's a dog on a bone, and he's going to commit to those shots a lot better than Braulio did. That's why the 0-5 case in this doesn't matter.
Got you.
That's my last thought.
And I agree. I felt that, and I've heard other people talk exactly what you just said about the way Khamzat shoots, how he's able to get so low and he's so fast. It's a problem for everybody, not just Imavov. It's a problem for everybody, and that's what makes Khamzat awesome. Okay, I know, Brett, you're asking about CJ. I did not watch it. I highly doubt Justin watched it because I know
I was invited to it, and I didn't even go. That's how I just hate watching grappling. It's like watching paint dry.
My balls as Shabayev has cleared the division, though not a lot left for him. UFC needs to market someone good for him. I think he's such a star.
He's cleared the division. I just think he's the champ.
He's such a star that it doesn't matter who he fights. Like, it will be cool to watch him fight Imavov. Him versus Strickland, though, is a super fight. If Strickland can beat Izzy again, or whoever they match him up with the next, and he can get that victory, they're going to put him against Khamzat. I bet you. And it's going to be too good. It's going to be too good. All right, moving on. BSD, Benoît Saint-Denis is back. Everybody was picking Mauricio Huffy to beat BSD, but BSD had his way with him. Now, I watched this fight. I loved it. BSD just smothered him with his heavy pressure, but dude, Huffy had no answer for him in terms of the ground game. BSD is a grappler, and he showed that through and through, tired him out, and got the finish, which I thought was incredible. Justin, what are your thoughts on Benoît Saint-Denis as a force to be reckoned with in the lightweight division?
Man, when has he not been a force to reckon with? I must have missed the memo that said he isn't tough. BSD is awesome. I've always had so much respect for him, just with more maturity and more experience. I mean, this guy could be fighting for the belt here in no time. Obviously not this year, but maybe next year for sure. This guy, he's a force to reckon with, and every time he steps in the cage, he brings it.
I think people started losing faith in him a little bit, I guess, maybe when he lost to DP and Renato Moicano back to back. So that was the beginning of it. But again, he's a victim of his own success. There was so much hype. People thought he was going to beat Dustin Poirier when that happened. That was a problem. But now he's on a 2-fight win streak. That's a big win because, again, as you mentioned, the fighting nerds have just this aura around them. It's kind of disrupted last night, obviously, or not last night, Saturday, but with Kaio and Huffy losing. But yeah, they've got that aura. I think he's going to capitalize on it, and I think he's going to move up in the rankings, and BSD is back. I think he's going to be a big force to be reckoned with in that division. By the way, Justin, what did you think about the French fighters going 5-0 in Paris?
I didn't even realize that, man. That's incredible. France is, not even just France, but the world is starting. It used to be, MMA I felt was dominated by Americans. Then Brazilians started coming through. Then Russians come. Dude, it's just such a great sport, and the way it's building around the world, not just in the U.S. or not just in Russia. It's just great to see. Because it's funny because how many times, maybe you haven't experienced this, but I've experienced this to where I'll have people come in from different countries, whether it's Russia, whether it's Brazil, and they don't speak any English, but they speak MMA, and we can communicate. And we don't even say any words. I use hand motions, and they follow through. So it's exciting to me. I just love seeing how the sport's growing.
Dude, also in the presser, speaking of the love of the French fans, when you had the presser with Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall, they wouldn't let Tom Aspinall speak. It was so cool. I wish that fight was going to be in France. Like, I love the French crowd is amazing. So anyways, I think it's super cool. BSD, another French fighter. He's got the crowd. He's got the country behind him. So I want to see him do well, and I can't wait for his next fight. But I just thought it was so cool to see BSD back. By the way, one other thing I want to mention, BSD, if I'm not mistaken, it was either the Moicano fight or the Dustin Poirier fight, but he had a pretty bad staph infection. I don't know if that contributed to what happened and how he got the loss, but either way, he's back. I know I'm making an excuse, right?
No. I was going to say, you guys want to see a nasty staph infection, bro? God. So check this out. So as you guys know, I scheduled a fight for October 26th. I was like, all right, cool. Monday, I jump in. I go through my strength conditioning. I do a live rounds of grappling, come back 5 o'clock, go back to wrestling, and then hit some mitts afterwards. Next day, Tuesday, boom, feeling good. Get in there, tune it up. And I get this fucking little whitehead on my leg. And I was like, oh, I think this is going to get staph. So I start clearing out. It's fucking nasty. It's the size of a quarter. It's pussy.
I don't want to see it.
Purple. You want to see it? I'll show it to you.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I got a Band-Aid on.
Okay.
But dude, yeah. So like, this is just to go to talk about, like, you guys talk to me. I mean, everyone in the chat for the most part twice a week. I'm 2 days into my first training camp, and now I already have to take 2 weeks off. I can't even train. I can't do anything. And I've been on the couch for 6 months. So when we talk about these things that fighters have to go through, in each fight camp, I mean, look at this. This is huge.
All right, we got a couple comments I want to read, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. How does the chat feel about John Jones? We're not going to. I can't even talk about John Jones. Sorry. MGOT4 Productions. You guys have the best show on MMA YouTube. Let's go. Hey, thank you so much, dude. Thank you for the support. You're always here. You're always chiming in. We really appreciate it. Thank you. So many guys that can be a world champion at any given moment in 185. It's the best. 170 is great too, but 185, right now it's incredible. Mutball, if you're talking about Khamzat, this is the craziest take.
I can actually kind of feel for what John's saying here. I know you have this high aura, but when I think of like superstar, I think of Khamzat Chimaev. I don't. Khamzat just doesn't. He hasn't. To me, he hasn't done enough to be Anderson Silva, to be George St. Pierre. I think he's going to. I think exactly. I think he's going to. But at this point, I think he's great. But to say he's a superstar, I see him on his way, but I don't think he's a superstar yet.
I just look at the numbers. I look at the social media following. He has the most, I know it's like silly to look number, but like people get so excited when he fights. So, and again, you saw in the presser, I think the proof is in the pudding. I do think he's at that level. Oh, has he accomplished what Anderson Silva's accomplished? No, of course not. Actually, there's a great interaction of him at Jackson training with Anderson Silva and being like, "You're a legend, brother." And he goes, you've done amazing. And he goes, "Now it's your time." Anderson Silva said that to him. "Now it's your time. My time is over. Now it's your time." So I think he's building that legacy, and it's going to be incredible. So we shall see. All right, moving on to topic number 3. Who is next for Khamzat and DDP? So we touched on this. So Justin, Imavov gets the victory. We have RDR versus Fluffy next. Do you think for sure that it's going to be Imavov versus Khamzat next?
No, I don't. And I just, like I said, that's the video I was making right before what I kind of rolled into. I'm not saying I don't think it's going to be, but I don't think it should be. Like I said before the stream, I wanted them to do a 4-man tournament, not officially saying it's a 4-man tournament, but essentially Imavov or Braulio, and then Fluffy versus RDR, and the 2 winners fight Khamzat. In the meantime, I'd love to see the super fight, the grudge match of Khamzat and Sean Strickland. And I'm biased towards that, obviously, because Sean's an extreme fighter. And right now, I just saw a video of extreme. We're kind of under fire right now for not winning fights. And they're blaming, anyways, it doesn't matter, but maybe I'll make another video about that. But regardless, I think the winner of RDR and Fluffy should fight, because all 3 of the guys that are left, I say 3 because Braulio's not in the mix anymore. All 3 guys that are left, I don't think they're at Khamzat's level. I would love to see Imavov go through a full another fight camp, fight the winner, and that'll give the winner of Fluffy and RDR a whole nother fight camp to sharpen their skills even more, to try to catch up to Khamzat, because I just don't think they're within range right now.
And when we're talking about DDP, and by the way, we got a comment from Muttball saying he's your boyfriend. That's true. It's an open relationship, though. It's all good. And you like him, and I get that it's just, I get that, but I just don't think he's a draw. The only person I hear about his fights are you, LOL, but a casual move. Okay. I mean, what are we discussing here? We'll just agree to disagree. Okay. Big Boris says Strickland should fight Kaio, and he says Strickland versus loser of RDR versus Fluffy. That could be cool. You know what's actually like, Justin, forget about what makes sense logistically or anything like that. Because for me, I want to see DDP fight Imavov next. That sounds very interesting to me. But like for you, what's the most interesting fight for DDP next, in your opinion?
Dude, what if they did or for DDP? I think Imavov. Imavov would be great because, again, it's that stand-up. Imavov's going to stand back and he's going to try to counter fight. And I just think with how unorthodox DDP's striking is, I think he's going to have barriers. So when you look like Adesanya, when he knocked Adesanya out with that overhand, Adesanya's orthodox. He comes over his left hand. When DDP is going to be hiding behind, just like I mentioned before, he's going to be hiding his head behind his left hand. So I really like that matchup, and you've intrigued me in this session, because how is Imavov going to deal with that? His best weapon to me is his overhand right, but if DDP can block that from landing, what's he going to do? And that's exciting to watch.
And then we see that, and then switch to the uppercut, boom, up the middle. I don't know. It could be so cool. And that lead teep, that lead oblique. Oh, it's too good. Middleweight is the best ever. All right, now we're moving on. I saw this interview. I'm going to make a video about this later because, man, oh, man, Darren Till is back on top, in my opinion. He has taken the world by storm. He got that amazing victory not too long ago against Luke Rockhold, knocked him out badly. Now he wants everybody. So let me tell you what's on the table. And this is what was talked about on Ariel's show. There's a couple of fights right now that Darren Till is eyeballing, and every single one is incredible, in my opinion. He's going to stick around in boxing. Eventually, he's going to come back to the UFC. And I think he's going to do great in the UFC. I think he's getting all his game back. He's about to do a full reconstructive surgery on his knee. I guess his knee like popped out of place or something, his ACL, right before the Luke Rockhold fight. He put it back into place, was able to box fine and won the fight. But so he's getting all of that taken care of. But let me give you the list. Are you ready?
Ready.
Possibilities for Darren's next opponent. Number 1, Carl Froch. I don't really care about Carl Froch, but whatever. Number 2, I think they talked about, no, not KSI, but anyways, there's the possibility of Jake Paul. I don't think Jake Paul is going to take the fight, but that could be pretty interesting. I mean, we're talking all big names here. Number 3, and this apparently is the most likely, Andrew Tate. Imagine that. And I think he smokes Andrew Tate no matter what they do, whether it's boxing, whether it's kickboxing. I think Darren Till wrecks him in every facet, in every way. He's a real fighter. I mean, Tate is a real fighter, but like, he doesn't train him really the same way anymore. And what was the last option? Oh, yeah, they're still talking about Mike Perry. Okay. And I don't know if Mike Perry would actually do it with glove boxing or whatnot. Anyways, which of these 4? So again, Carl Froch, Andrew Tate, Jake Paul kind of out of the mix, or Mike Perry. Which one of these gets you most excited?
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, me too. Dude, sure. The stardom of Andrew Tate, he'll go up, he'll talk so much smack. I don't think Tate will do it, though. And I think Tate knows that it's too difficult of a fight, and he's probably going to lose. So I think, do you think Tate would actually do it?
Depends how much money he makes.
Yeah, maybe Tate, if he needs the money right now because of all the things he's been through and whatever, maybe he's more likely to take a fight like that, and maybe Misfits can actually pressure him or twist his arm a little bit. I have no idea his financial situation or whatnot, but that could be pretty cool. But anyways, how incredible would that be? Oh yeah, what about the Fury brothers? So Tommy Fury was discussed, but the thing, I don't think Tommy is going to do it, because I think what happened was last time is Tommy basically, I think he got nervous and he ran away, because if he loses to Darren Till, a non-boxer, I think it's going to be an embarrassment for his family. And like, if you remember what he did last time, he claimed that he didn't want to fight Darren Till because Darren Till threatened to kick him in the head or something at the presser. The reason made no sense. And then if you look at how many times Tommy Fury pulled out of the fights from Jake Paul, you look at how happy he was that he beat Jake Paul. I think he doesn't, I think he's too worried. I don't know if scared is the right word, but I think he's too worried about him losing. I think he thinks he will lose. I don't see him training seriously, in my opinion. So I think these are the issues. Unfortunately, I don't think Tommy Fury will fight him. I would love that fight. I think Darren Till smokes him, but I don't think he's going to take it. We got a couple of comments. Muttball says DDP needs to show something for a rematch. Unless they show him doing something against someone with some serious wrestling, he doesn't deserve a rematch. Oh, yeah. Dude, he's not going to rematch Chimaev. No way. There's no way that's happening. That's impossible. Even
I don't think he wants the rematch either, he said.
He said his coach and him both, they don't want the rematch. I was just reading them. Apparently Tate is saying Till is, oh, give me a break. I don't buy that for a sec.
Not in a heartbeat.
Tate's lying. I think Tate's lying. There's no way. I mean, I believe that Tate said it, but I don't see Darren Till asking for many stipulations. Darren Till just talked about it on the show today. He's like, I'll do 8 rounds. I'll do 10 rounds. I'll do 6 rounds. I'll do whatever he wants. BS. Dude, Tate, I told you Tate's not going to want that fight. It's too dangerous and he's going to lose. All right, Justin, I want to turn this one over to you. Jean Silva versus Diego Lopes going down this Saturday while we'll be in Montana, by the way. So we're going to have to probably catch the main event in the car on our phones once again after the show. But break it down for us. You saw the odds. You just looked at them. You said you're going to bet the house on Diego Lopes. How do you see this fight going?
Well, Jean Silva, I mean, he has a lot. He's very, very tough. Obviously, he's had some incredible finishes, but you look at Diego Lopes, on the other hand, we've mentioned me and Diego have fought some of the same guys before, and just seeing him as he's like plus 225 underdog, like it's crazy. And, he had that incredible performance in his last fight, and this is a guy that, man, I'm not saying that Diego Lopes isn't there and going to get, but this is going to be a war, guys. I see this fight going to decision. I see Diego Lopes having the better wrestling, having the better grappling. But if Jean Silva can keep him away, he can knock him out from afar. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions in this, and I'm going to make a breakdown video of this as well.
Yes, let's go. It's going to be a banger. This is the type of fight that you probably live for, right, Justin? It's going to be just a slugfest. Is Jean Silva going to get that crazy knockout? Diego Lopes is going to throw a fury of strikes. Whether or not he gets a knockout, it's going to be just a banger of a fight. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this goes. I am kind of confused by the odds, but the odds makers seem to be right more often than they're wrong. So maybe they know things that we don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I cannot wait for this Saturday.
Keep in mind,
yeah,
odds makers. Yeah, but well, they don't have to be right or wrong. It doesn't matter because the VIG. Does that you make sense of that?
You mean in terms of like they're moving it around essentially to throw off where people are putting money? Okay,
and so like if you have like -1 or like we'll look at I'm trying to think Abralio +130 or -135 to +110. So you put people 110, take 10 off that 45. That's the profit that the better makes 45 cents a dollar essentially.
Got it.
45 cents each bet. But anyways, that's for another.
I am not a betting expert. Maybe we can do a deep dive at some point. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting how I guess the odds play into what we expect. But again, like you look at the fight like Khamzat versus DDP, more people were picking DDP, I felt like, than Khamzat, but the odds were in Khamzat's favor. They proved to be pretty accurate. So Muttball says Tate wants cred for fighting and Till wants money. He should take no dives. We want the real deal. Apparently it's about the gloves or something. Okay, interesting. I just don't buy it that Till cares about the gloves. I just think he's lying. Lopez do be reckless with elbows, with he throws. Hopefully no barking from Jean Silva. Yeah, I agree. Silva could catch him, yeah, for sure. And the odds makers love the fighting nerds. Okay, guys, this is going to be a great fight. Justin's going to do a breakdown this week, and it's going to be very detailed. So I don't want to steal that thunder, but let's go to the final segment of the show. Justin, you often at Fusion Fight League like to tell the guys, like give them tips on trash talk and hyping up the press, like not the press conference, but the stare down and just getting people excited. So we have just a funny clip to end the show. We'll get your feedback on a funny moment that was captured. Tito Ortiz gets in the ring and talks smack to Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen, one of the best when he does do the smack. This is one place where I actually want to hear Chael talk and these smack talk exchanges, not on the show or not on ESPN. But Justin, let's play this and then we're going to get your reaction to how well you think Tito Ortiz does in this whole exchange. Check it out.
I appreciate that. So my birthday, you pinned me. But I made him tap the last time we fought. But all you guys who are Democrats, you believe the bullshit, so I understand it. But we're 1-1. I've been watching this thing through the night. Thank every one of you guys for being here tonight. It's been an amazing job. All the wrestlers have put on an amazing job. I want an opportunity to do another match. All right. Wait. Hold on 1 second. I've been retired for 3 years, and I've been coaching high school wrestling. I've been coaching kids a little better than you. I get it.
You want to go one more?
I think me and you should actually do a match here at RAF. You're a great announcer. You're actually leaving tomorrow to do a submission match, which I get it, which I respect that. I hate you. That is personal to me. Excuse my language. Apologize, children. Apologize. I gave you an opportunity to apologize after our last fight, and you didn't. Man to man. Next, RAF, number 2, Tito Ortiz, Chael Sonnen, here in a wrestle match. I don't have to choke you. I don't have to punch in your face. I don't have to elbow in your face. We can do your style type of. Can we be a collegiate wrestler myself? Can we wrap this up? Yes, sir.
All right. So my response would go like this, with a little bit of space. You look good. By the way, you do look good.
Yes, sir. I'm picturing myself on Fox Nation.
Okay, we got to stop it here. It goes on further. This actually makes me. I've talked about on the channel how I have a hard time listening to Chael, but in this context, he's really good to listen to, and he kind of lays it down. Justin, take it away as we wrap up the show. What's your take on Tito Ortiz's monologue there?
So it's kind of weird, and it's, I mean, he has CTE, obviously. I mean, look at the way he talks. I mean, he's never been good at trash talking, but this is like the fourth time that these guys, maybe the third time that these guys have had trash talk banter back and forth. And there is actually videos on YouTube. You can search it up and it's hilarious. It's like Chael Sonnen schooling Tito Ortiz in interviews. And it happens over and over and over and over and over. And Tito keeps trying, and Chael he is undefeated. Like, there is no question in my mind that Tito's never even, like, he talks about his wife being a porn star and this and that. It's like, why does Tito keep poking this bear? Like, let's move on to somebody that's going to stop, because he makes him look stupid every single time. It makes him look so stupid that I almost have a side of me feels it's choreographed, because how can you be so stupid?
It's really bad. I think, I don't know. I don't know too much about the CTE stuff or anything, but it is a lack of self-awareness, maybe to some extent, or just a lack of experience on the mic. I don't know, but yeah.
He's
Brett
a politician.
Yeah, I heard that.
What do you mean lack of experience on the mic? He's been in the UFC since 1990. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's really hard to watch. You can see Bisping and Paul Felder in the corner too. They were like cringing like crazy. Anyways, Brett B says not interested in anything Chael does. I kind of do like this trash talk version of Chael back, like the old school version. But yeah, I agree with you. I can't watch his stuff or his commentary. It's crazy. Western says I'd watch this. Muffball says Ortiz makes me sad sometimes. It's just such a train wreck. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Tito is almost over. I don't even know if it's fair to say he's like anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he has a real hard time on the mic. Like you said, he's a politician. He's out there. He's doing things. I just think sometimes it's hard to talk, and especially on a mic in front of the crowd. I think that's what it is.
So, there's this little clip. Oh, it's 2 minutes long. Never mind. But I just looked it up. It's a 2-minute clip of top 5 roasting moments of Chael Sonnen to Tito Ortiz. And it's not one interview. It's not 2 interviews. It's 5 different interviews that he's roasted him on, either on a press or on like a call. And Chael keeps, fucking Tito. Like, at one point you got to be like, you know what? I'm going to stop talking shit to this guy. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is it's just, anyways, I'm watching it on another screen right now, but
I would send that video to me. I'd watch it, and I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. I'd watch more of this. It's so cringy.
Here, why don't we pull it up? Watch 30 seconds of it right now. I'll share it.
Send it to me. I'll okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'll send it to you.
But how about this? I might actually watch it offline. I do, and maybe we'll make a commentary to it at some point. But I think we're going to wrap up the show. Oh, Brett, does Justin have a fight coming up? Did I miss something? Yes, Justin does have a fight.
October 26th, Palms in Las Vegas.
Okay, so there you go. October 20. Let me put that down. October 26th at the Palms in Vegas. So be there or be square. That's a Sunday, October 26th, and that is Justin Jane's next fight. Okay, guys, we are going to wrap it up here. This was an amazing show. So much fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you for the kind words. I believe it was MGAL4 Productions and some of you other folks, Chad Bees as well. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Every viewer makes a difference. Obviously, we're still a small channel, but we're growing. We're having a blast. We think we're onto something, and we want to keep doing our thing. So thank you guys so much for joining. If you did like what you saw, make sure to click subscribe. If you did like what you saw, period, make sure to click that like button. Brett B says, y'all are great. Thank you so much, my friend. All right, we will see you back here Friday, 1:30 p.m. PST. And we'll be commentating together at Fusion Fight League on Saturday in Montana. We'll give you guys the details on how to stream that on the Friday show. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.